Hello, my name is Shawnery Guzman and I am a nationally certified car seat technician. Today's video will cover the 90-minute challenge, which is also known as the angle tolerance test. Washington state law requires that we read and follow your car seat owner's manual. Always be sure to look at the car seat manual before starting any angle test. Before we start the test, we're going to familiarize ourselves with the parts and pieces of a car seat. This is a car seat base. It comes with all rear-facing only car seats. It is important that if a car seat has a base, that the base be used for the angle tolerance test. The base allows us to get a stable surface for the car seat to sit on. It also allows us to change the angle depending on the surface. When testing for the 90-minute challenge, you'll be on a flat surface, so the likelihood of needing to use what we call the foot would be unlikely. When you talk to the caregivers about angle when they ride home in the car, it's important to show them how their seat works. In this base here, just by twisting this knob, I start to release the foot. So when they install this car seat in their car, in order to achieve the appropriate angle to allow the airway to be open, they may have to adjust the foot. You will refer them back to their car seat owner's manual about how their car seat base works. As a car seat comes out of the box, it is as safe as it'll ever get. Every part and piece that came with this car seat has been crash tested. For instance, this car seat came with a head support, came with a body pillow, and came with some harness straps. These all came with the car seat, are safe for use. Now we see a lot of aftermarket products. For instance, this head support you could buy at any retail store. It is very plush and has a lot of thickness. It also changes how the car seat fits the baby. This aftermarket product is not recommended for use. When reading the car seat owner's manual, which is the law that we follow, it will tell you very clearly not to add any products to that car seat that did not come with it. Therefore, this should be removed before any testing occurs. Another common product that we see are these harness strap covers. If you look at this car seat here, the harness strap covers are very thin and they're very short compared to these harness strap covers, which are very thick and very long. This changes how the harness fits on the baby. Therefore, it changes how the baby fits in the car seat. The car seat will not perform in a crash and can throw off your angle tolerance test. Now that we've removed all the parts and pieces that didn't come with the car seat, or we've consulted the car seat owner's manual to make sure that all the parts and pieces can remain for the baby. For instance, if a baby is tiny, say 4 pounds, sometimes they say to remove the harness straps. So we want to check the manual to make sure that we're following all those instructions. A brand new car seat, when it comes out of the box, will come with the harness in the lowest position. And that's where we want to start with most newborns and preemies. This car seat here has 3 locations where the harness can be placed. For our newborns, it's always going to be on the lowest because that strap needs to be at or below the shoulder. Very rarely would we see this harness in one of the upper slots. If I turn this car seat over, this harness has some unique characteristics that not all harnesses have. And I would know this by reading the car seat owner's manual. If you look at this harness strap, it has an upper and a lower loop. Here's the upper loop, here's the lower loop. The upper loop is used for newborns, which is what you will be working with. This allows the harness to fit a newborn, especially a tiny babyer, better. When to move this harness down to the lower strap is in your car seat owner's manual and should be consulted. Now that we have it on the correct harness loop location, and we know the harness strap is in the lowest position, now we can set the car seat up for the test. So I've made sure that the base itself is lying flat because I am on a flat surface. I'm going to click the car seat into the base so that I hear the snap. On this particular car seat, the angle indicator is on the car seat itself. Whereas on many car seats, the angle indicator is on the base, underneath the reason why the base is so important to use. On this car seat, if it is all blue, I'm good to go. If I see orange, that means I need to adjust the angle. Again, angle equals airway. So as you can see, I have just a tiny bit of orange. I'm going to take the car seat out. I'm just going to give it ever so slight of a turn. Now that I've adjusted the angle, I'm going to place the car seat back in the base, hear the click, and check my angle, and I'm still off. It may take you 4 or 5 times of adjusting the angle before you get in the all blue or reach the appropriate angle. Again, angle equals airway. If we have the right angle, baby's head lies back naturally, maybe tilts a little bit to the side, and the airway remains wide open. If baby is sitting up too tall, chin drops to the chest, compromises the airway, and the baby will fail the test. Another reason why we might fail the test is because of the head support. Sometimes these head supports are thick enough that they put just enough pressure on the back of the head to put stress on the airway. And again, they'll fail the test. So sometimes just simply removing the headrest will be the difference between passing or failing. So now that we have the appropriate angle, our car seat is set up with the shoulder straps in the right location, now it's time to put the baby in the car seat. All right, so this is a baby that's a preemie, but close to what a regular birth weight baby would be, kind of in between. But this is a baby size that we would often see. So what we're gonna do when we put baby in the car seat is we're gonna make sure that they're sitting up tall, just like we do when we get into our own vehicle seat. We want them to sit up tall so they sit into the harness, but also so that their entire spine is making contact with the vehicle seat. If they are slouched down, there will be free space back here in the lower spine, and that would be unsafe for travel. So we want them sitting up tall so their whole spine makes contact with the car seat. Now once they're sitting up tall, I start to place the harness over the child, and once I have it all generally in place, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. When I start at the bottom, I am pulling out extra hidden slack that we don't often see, and that slack is down here in the hips. So I start at the bottom and I take my fingers and I pull on the harness and I pull it tight over the hip bones. This is the strongest part of the lower body. Once I do that, I'm going to take the chest clip and I'm going to move it all the way down to the lowest position, and I'm going to connect it. All of my slack now is up here, so when I pull the harness, it should tighten over the shoulder. I'm going to get it about halfway there, so not all the way tight, about halfway. And it's not usually easy. So I've got it almost all the way there, and I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to take their limbs, arms and legs, and make sure they're not tucked under the harness. I'm going to pull them out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth out their clothes, because I want the harness to lie as flat against the body as possible. Then I'm going to pull up as much extra slack as I can, starting down at the hip all the way up. I'm going to push these shoulder protection pads up on the shoulder. I'm going to bring this chest clip up to armpit level, strongest part of the upper body, and then I'm going to do my final tightening. How we know if it's tight enough is through the pinch test. I'm going to take my fingers at the top of the shoulder, and if I can pick up webbing in my fingers easily, it's too loose. So this one is too loose. I'm going to give it a little bit extra tighten, and then I'm going to try it again, and if my fingers slip off naturally, that means I have a tight harness. The tight harness is important because that's what secures the child in the car seat. That's what keeps them in pre-crash position. That's also what keeps them from sliding down. The snug harness's job is to provide head and neck protection. We think it's the head support when it's actually the proper fit of the harness. And that is why it is okay to remove the head support for a child who's having difficulty passing the test. Now, a lot of times, especially for our tiny babies, even once they're secured, the car seat's still just a little bit too big for them. So there are some things we can do. Between the baby's crotch area and the buckle, if there's free space, we are allowed to roll a small washcloth to fill up that space. What that does is it keeps the baby upright so that they don't slide down into that crotch strap. Because when they slide down, so does their chin to their chest. So that little rolled washcloth right in the crotch area keeps them in an upright position. Also, there might be some free space on the side of the baby in the car seat. You can simply roll a blanket and place those on each side, and we will insert a graphic so that you can see that a little bit better. Now Now that we have the baby properly fitted in the car seat, sitting up tall, we can see with our eyes that they have the appropriate angle because their head is lying back naturally, maybe a little bit to the side. We're confirming that angle with the angle indicator. We can begin to place all the monitoring devices and start the angle indication test. It is really important during this whole testing process that we involve the caregivers from the very beginning. Take out the car seat owner's manual, begin to read it along with the caregivers, learn about the car seat together. Doing the challenge in a controlled environment in the hospital is one thing, but getting out to the vehicle and putting the child in safely for that ride home, that's the responsibility of the parents. More education you can provide bedside, the more likely they are to use that car seat correctly when they get to the vehicle. So using that manual is very important. Have the parent and caregiver help you position the child in the car seat. Let it be a learning experience for the parent and caregiver as well. So as I've said before, the manual is a really important part of using the car seat. Read it before you start the car seat challenge and make sure that the parents are also reading that. And also refer to the 90-minute challenge policy for more information.